Hello, welcome to our little webinar about teachers and e-learning days in BCSC. So some basic guidelines that you need to know is number one, that starting on the 6th snow day and beyond, we will be having e-learning days. And then also any day that gets canceled after spring break will also be an e-learning day. So students will be using It's Learning to complete their lessons, and a website is created to kind of give you this information as well, plus some other resources. And we'll have some district trainings in December over this and possibly in January as well. So for our students with connectivity issues, and that is a big issue in our community, is that we are going to open up East, North Side, South Side for and if weather permits, but for students who need connectivity and teachers as well. Lunch will be provided at noon, and then all of the services will be there. We'll also provide free public Wi-Fi spots. Community buildings have offered to open themselves up as well for Wi-Fi. We've given out lists on a public website for affordable internet access. We're looking into some hotspots through a grant. And then last case scenario is that you can use offline assignments for students who need it. So here are some basic guidelines. And if you remember, the main thing is that if you get a lesson set up correctly before an e-learning day or that morning, then it should be a pretty easy day in terms of managing. You'll have to answer questions if they come in and respond to student work, but it's not going to be a one-to-one Skyping type of classroom environment. So state mandates are you have to have learning objectives posted by 9 a.m., have to have office hours, and ours are going to be from 9 to 3. And you need to try to communicate with students through It's Learning, social media. Remind.com is a great tool, email, all of those type of outlets. And then lessons have to be in continuation with what's happening in the classroom, and you can't have pre-assigned packets. They have to maintain momentum. There's a lot of districts just giving out packets over like I-STEP review, and the state does not want that anymore. So we've made a couple lessons showing UDL framework through those and really through Katie Novak's expertise. But the main thing is you have to give your students options. Just be aware, like if they're watching a video, they may not have enough connectivity to stream that video. So give them multiple ways to learn and also multiple ways to show you that they've learned. It's imperative if you want them to look at something, then you have to assess it online. Otherwise, they just won't do it. And then make sure the timing is right. So if you have students, if you're a specials teacher and only have them for 40 minutes or so, make sure your lesson is about that. And be creative. You can use things around the house. You can make them do things outside. Use what you can think about around the house that they may have. And then attendance will be taking off your judgment on the student's completion of those objectives. So being available from 9 to 3 just means that you will be able to answer questions from students and parents, provide feedback to students through discussion boards, chats, assignments, whatever that may be that you're assigning. And then also there's a hotline. So if a student or parent calls the hotline, then we'll be contacting principals who will be contacting you. And then find out which students, this is imperative that you find out which students have connectivity and which ones don't, and find out what their plans are, where they're going to be. We need to identify certain students, all students who are going to be showing up possibly to the certain open schools, and then also FFY, places like that, to try to get a general idea of what our students are doing. And another thing is that it should not be the first time their students use It's Learning for your course. Make sure you start introducing it and getting comfortable with it before that day. So some other things, be flexible. If a student has an emergency, can't complete it the day, then validate that reason and give them time to make it up. So it'd be like if they were sick. Kindergarten teachers, we don't have one-to-one devices for them. So make sure that, you can put some things on It's Learning, but most of those are going to have to be off those devices. We're going to try to send out an email with weather reports during the day, and as we get closer to that sixth snow day, to kind of give you a heads up if students should take home devices. And then also IEPs, 504s, any modification has to be met legally. Make sure you communicate with student, parent, and service teacher for your plans that day and how we can make sure that we honor those as best we can for an e-learning day. All right, so here are some sample lessons that we've put on. All of you are in here, the e-learning day course within It's Learning. So for an elementary one, this lesson was built through a page. So it has times, but just again, please note that if you can't make those times, then follow at your own pace. But this is just kind of a general guided thing of what they would normally do. And there's a poll in here. So if you look over on the right here, you get a reading block and you have a choice board. So giving student choices is going to be key. So they have online and offline type of things that they can do to complete the learning objectives. There's discussion boards, so you can communicate with your students through that. You can communicate through the messaging system, or again, like Remind, things like that. So the goals are pretty easy to see along the left-hand side here. You have writing prompts, lots of pictures for the students, easy navigation, science and social studies activities as well. And for secondary lessons, this again is also set up through a page. So welcome, there's learning objectives in the planner, or follow the assignment. And there's also a poll here. So if you open up the assignment, you have the goals. And again, this is a little over the top, just to show you all the options here. So for representation, they can look at a PowerPoint, a video, images, read a website if you have links to books. And then you need to complete 3 of these following activities. So you have discussion boards, conference in a certain time frame, Google Doc for identification, a little quiz, a crossword. There's some offline assignments here, creating a video and also creating a model, maybe taking a picture of it. And then when they answer, they can answer with the answer key and insert video or whatever they want. But again, this gives them plenty of options that day to be successful. And hopefully, if you follow these guidelines and make sure that you're communicating and knowing where your students are, we can have a successful e-learning day.